now with the next one. Here is an example of a graph again. Remember, paper 2 likes to ask questions on interpreting data. And here is once again the annual inflation rate. I want to emphasize this, the annual average inflation rate from January 2008 to March 2009. Now here are different types of questions that could be asked. If I look at this graph, one possible question can also be, once again, what trend do you notice? Because this shows us how the inflation rate is just keeping on increasing and increasing. But these questions, these questions says, by what percentage did the price increase from October 2006 to October 2007? Please, when you use a graph to interpret information, take a pen or a pencil or a highlighter and go and mark the information. You don't have to keep it clean. Take your color pen or whatever you have available. Go look for October 2006. There's October 2006. And please use your ruler, because I can't use my ruler now. But what is the value that we find? Is 5,4%. So that is the first value that you will write down. And the next value is October 2007. So now I have to go to October 2007, and I take my ruler and I go and I find the value of October 2007. And what do you notice then? The values of the two will be then 5,4%, and October's is 8,4%, and the difference then will be 3%. So by what percentage did it increase? From 5,4% to 8,4%, and that will give you, 7,9%, not 8,4, 7,9%, and that gives you, if I 7,9% minus the 5,4%, and that gives you a difference of 2,5%. Another possible question, in which months and years was the inflation rate 7%? Now I go to my y-axis, I look at 7, and if I can find all the 7s, I can go down and say, oh, but it was April 2007. The another 7 is June 2007, and another 7% is July 2007. Just use your rulers and make sure that you interpret the value correctly. There's another possible question on inflation. Now we've come to the last part of inflation, and that is the Consumer Price Index. This is the last possible calculation that is required of you to do. But before you can do it, it is very important that you must first, once again, understand how it works. Because you cannot calculate it if you don't understand it. Now let us look. The index reference period. Now that is the first part that sounds very strange. The index reference period is a specific year. Because when we calculate the CPI, we work from a specific year. Now if you look further, it says it is called the base year. So we work from a specific year, and that year is the base year. You can work from any year. You can say, let's see from 2010, what was the difference in the CPI. You can say, let's work from 1900s and see what is the CPI. Just as long as you have the price of your base year. We will do an example of that now. It often differs both from the weight reference period and the price reference period. That means today something costs maybe 10 Rand. 4 years ago it was 6 Rand. So the base year will be 6 Rand. And now it's 10 Rand. That's why they say they differ from each other. This is just a matter of rescaling the whole time series to make the value of the index reference period equals to 100. That is very important. So your base year, the original year that you start doing your calculations from, is always 100. Now, sometimes, once again, they give you a table with the base year and all the other values, but they can also ask you to calculate that. But don't worry, I will show you how. Now, this is how it's done if they don't give you the base year. Choose one item you have purchased in the past. Try to find something that you have an exact number for and what you have recently purchased as well. This product will be your reference CPI or your base. Write down the price of the reference CPI. The starting CPI is always 100. Now here is an easy example. A pen costs R1.50 in 2012. This now will be your core CPI of 100 for the first year. Now, this is in 2013, that same pen costs R1.75. Now, I don't have the CPI of that year, but I can find it. And how? Very easy. Just take the value of the second year and divide it by the value of the first year. And it gives you a CPI of 116.6. What do you notice? Now I've got two CPIs. I've got my first CPI of 100, and I've got my second CPI of 116. And now the best part is, from those two CPIs, I can calculate the inflation rate. Here is another formula. But I wonder if you can spot the similarity again. It is the CPI of the second year minus the CPI of the first year over the CPI of the first year. Can I substitute those words with other words? The new CPI minus the old CPI over the old CPI. And of course, because it's a percentage, multiply by 100%. Formula, second rule, substitute. There's my second CPI. I've already determined it. The first one was 100 over the original one, which of course was also 100, multiply by 100%, and that gives you 16.6%. That is the last calculation that you must be able to do. I'm just going to shortly repeat it again. You must be able to find the CPI, but remember, they'll never expect you to do something if they don't give you enough information. So they would have given you the two prices of the 2 years. And from those two prices, you can find the first one will be the 100, the CPI of 100, and the second one you can calculate by dividing the second one by the first one. And then I can calculate my inflation rate, which is similar to the one that we have already used. So that is it.